Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. And as we've spoke, that's not the only place that palladium and platinum is located in the United States. It's just the only place that it's permitted. That's part of the problems that we are running into. Mr. Summers, a moment ago, you referenced the national monuments and the amount of land that has been pulled out of potential production and productivity as because they have been designated as national monuments. So my question is that these extremely large tracts that have been pulled out, it's causing a lot of problem to have access to the valuable resources that are located beneath them. In your opinion, what do you feel was the original intent? Because that's what we rely upon here, the original intent of the size and the purpose of the designation of a national monument was, and do you think that a clarification of the language would be very beneficial?
Absolutely. The Antiquities Act, I think, has been abused in recent decades to lock up mineral resources and for other purposes for which it wasn't intended. If you look at one of the original national monuments, which is the Natural Bridges National Monument in Utah, in southern Utah, that has some of the most beautiful natural bridges that you'll find anywhere in the world. That was a monument that was designated by Teddy Roosevelt, and it's 7,000 acres. The Bears Ears Monument that we've been fighting over for the last 10 or so years was originally 1.3 million acres. And so you're locking up a lot of land, and some of that land absolutely should be protected, but a lot of it, it's not necessary to have that level of protection on. The Grand Staircase Escalante National Monument is 1.9 million acre national monument, one of the largest that we have, and that locked up a large amount of our coal reserves in the state. Some of the best coal that you'll find anywhere was locked up because of that national monument. So I think that we need to get back to the original intent, which is to find those landscapes and those cultural resources that need legitimate protection, and protect those with, national monument or whatever other designation is appropriate. But also part of that is that when you have those national monument designations, there's not resources that come with that. So there's not an appropriation from Congress that says we're going to give you the resources that you need to appropriately manage this land. And so you'll have, 1.3 million acres of land that's designated, and you've got a couple of BLM law enforcement that are supposed to patrol that whole area. And in some cases, we're finding actually more degradation to the cultural resources than we had before.
Sure. And again, do you feel that we could have some clarification to the Antiquities Act to try and straighten some of that out?
Absolutely.
I would love to hear some recommendations from you on some of that language that we could try to incorporate. Mr. Holloman, we appreciate you coming here before this committee, shed some light on just how difficult the development of critical and strategic minerals are in the United States. Despite us being one of the leading consumers and developers of electrification, you highlight just how reliant we are on our foreign adversaries for these technologies, specifically mentioning that 90% of the world's cobalt, nickel, and rare earth minerals are being processed in China, a country that we are constantly in competition with, as clearly evidenced by the spy balloon which traveled over our country, specifically Montana, looking at our ICBMs in an Air Force base all of last week. Your company, U.S. Strategic Metals, is an example of how feasible this can be if only the federal government would let us. You had one line in your testimony that I think has rung very, very clear to a lot of people sitting in this room today. The best time to act was yesterday. The second best time to act is today. I seek to act today to defend ourselves against foreign reliance on these minerals. And my question for you is, what, in your opinion, are some of the specific actions that Congress can put into motion to allow for these domestic capabilities to develop, and how can we prevent the administration from continuing to block mineral development in the United States?
It's a great question. Thank you, Congressman. I think the important thing is to be involved in this domestic content negotiation that's going on with the IRA. It has been passed. It's about to go into action, and we need to make sure that the content of the batteries for electrification are made in America or free trade agreement countries. This is going to be a big ask, and we're going to have to get our GMs, our Fords, our Teslas involved in this. And I think that, the Congress can do a lot in making sure that that happens. There's another thing we have to do is debunk everywhere you see it the narrative which is coming out that it's too late. I just read an article where they have people on the Hill saying Chinese presence in the electric vehicle market is already nearly ubiquitous. Corporate partnerships between Chinese and foreign automakers, including those in the U.S., is standard, and that reaching America's climate goals without Chinese technology would be exceedingly difficult. We must stamp out this narrative. We can handle it here in America. We cannot yield to this position that we have to use Chinese technology. It just happened in Virginia. You had CATL, a great Chinese company, but coming in and they wanted to build battery manufacturing with Ford in Virginia using Chinese technology, and they wouldn't show us the technology. We can't have that. We can do all of this stuff ourselves. We just need your help.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Holloman. Mr. Chair, I would yield back. Thank you.